Has it been moved?
I believe it has been moved.
And why was it moved?
Where it was located was kind of in a confined space in the corner of the room.
Showing you Exhibit 84. Do you recognize Exhibit 84?
Yes, it's where a spent projectile was recovered right above the air conditioning unit inside the curtains.
Exhibit 86.
I'm sorry, can you just give me one moment? Just step up.
Do you need the picture?
Yeah, do you mind putting that back on? Thank you.
What does picture 80, Exhibit 86 show?
It's a close-up picture of placard number 4 of that spent projectile that was recovered in the curtains.
And showing you Exhibit 87. What does Exhibit 87 show?
The projectile from placard number 4 that was moved for a close-up photograph.
So it's taken from the air conditioning unit and moved for this photograph?
Taken from the curtain and moved on, I believe, the bed, taken a photo of it.
Showing you Exhibit 89. What does Exhibit 89 show?
It's where a projectile possibly struck. We looked at the air conditioner inside and to the rear. Determine exactly, but it appeared to be a projectile strike, and there was another hole on the exterior or the back end of that air conditioner as well.
And is that what Exhibit 88 shows?
Yes.
And did you ever find a projectile associated with this air conditioner, the one that struck the air conditioner?
I did not.
That last photo down there, is that 85?
88.
I'm sorry, 88? Thank you.
Detective Lieutenant next showing you Exhibit 76. Do you recognize what's depicted in Exhibit 76?
It appears to be another discharge cartridge casing by placard number 1.
And is Exhibit 77 a close-up of that discharge cartridge casing?
It is.
And what did you do with the discharge cartridge casings and the spent projectile that you recovered from the scene that night?
So all pieces of evidence were documented, where they were located by placard number, the time of location, who recovered that evidence, and any particular features of that discharge casings, the head stamps or bundle marks.
So you collected the evidence and documented it, fair to
Yes.
say? And is it, in summary, fair to say that you recovered 2 discharge cartridge casing and 1 spent projectile?
Correct.
Sorry, I was distracted. Can you ask that question again?
Sure. In summary, is it fair to say that you recovered 2 discharged cartridge casings and 1 spent projectile that night?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Did you continue your search of that bedroom?
I did.
And what else did you recover from that bedroom?
I don't believe there was anything else from the bedroom other than the 2 discharge casings and the projectile.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes. Oh. Let's, We'll take a 5-minute recess.
All rise. Let's do a 5-minute recess. Please don't exit the floor.
Session, please proceed.
Your Honor, we're back on record on the Kelsey Fitzsimmons matter. All counsel and the defendants are present.
Okay, you may continue, counsel.
Thank you. Detective Lieutenant, is it true that you took possession of a number of firearms the night of June 30th, 2025?
I did.
And whose firearms did you collect?
There was 2 North Andover police officers' firearms and another firearm that was recovered at the top of the stairs at the residence.
And the 2 North Andover police officers, was that Tim Houston and Patrick Noonan?
Yes,
And did you also inspect Lieutenant Daly's firearm on scene?
I did.
And what did you determine with respect to Lieutenant Daly's firearm?
He had,
Well, I'm sorry. This almost only happens in barns. But the window's open over here, which is what we need for, because of our HVAC, but I'm having trouble hearing. Do you mind closing that? Sorry, and you're gonna have to repeat those last question and answer. I didn't. Thank you. Okay. Can you repeat that?
I think so. Sir, what was your finding with respect to Lieutenant Daly's firearm?
he had 1 magazine, so he was fully loaded. There wasn't any unaccounted for rounds of ammunition.
Okay.
Wait, I'm confused because I thought you took Officer Houston and Officer Noonan is what I wrote down, but is that?
Fair to say you took Officer Houston's firearm and Officer Noonan's firearm.
Correct.
And did you take Lieutenant Daly's firearm?
I did not.
Did you just examine the number of bullets in his magazine?
Yes,
Well, she's leading because the judge was distracted by the outside noise. So, and I'll allow you to do so as well, Mr. Brady. So overruled. All right. So now I understand. Thank you.
And sir, I'm next going to ask you if you recognize what's shown in Exhibit 10.
Yes, that is the firearm at the top of the stairs, as well as a magazine with numerous live cartridges in it, as well as 1 loose live cartridge.
Is this the loose live cartridge here?
It is.
I'd like to ask you about your major findings in this case. Based on your training and experience, did you conduct microscopic analysis with respect to the projectile and cartridge casings that were recovered from the bedroom of Phillipsbrook Road?
I did. So I test fired all 3 weapons and conducted a microscopic examination of the class characteristics, as well as the individual markings that were left behind from the firing process. I was able to conclude that the weapon that was fired by Officer Noonan created the discharge casings that were recovered in the bedroom, as well as the spent projectile that was recovered above the air conditioner.
And were you able to exclude any weapons?
I was able to exclude the other firearms.
I'd like to change gears a little and talk about the weapon that was recovered from the black safe at the top of the stairs. Did you do anything with respect to that gun?
I test fired that weapon with 2 live cartridges from submitted ammunition.
And what was your conclusion?
That weapon did not fire the discharge casings as well as the projectile that was recovered.
So the gun from the black safe was also excluded from the discharge casings in the projectile that were recovered from the bedroom?
Correct.
But did the gun operate?
It did operate, yes.
Was there any problems with its operation?
There was no malfunctions.
Did you bring with you today a box?
I did.
And what is contained within that box?
I believe it was the that Glock firearm that was in question that was recovered at the top of the stairs.
Is that box packaged in the standard way that the ballistic unit packages firearms?
It is.
if you could open the box and explain what is in the content, what's contained within.
Yeah, I assume that someone's made sure that this is safe to begin with.
I'll do it again, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right, we have a trigger lock that was provided later. We have the firearm in question. It's safe and empty. There's nothing in the chamber. The slide is locked back to the rear. There's nothing in the magazine well. The weapon is safe and empty. Also, contents of this is you have the 2 magazines that were recovered from the vest that were downstairs on the first floor of the residence. You have the magazine that was recovered in the safe. It was originally loaded with 16 live cartridges. And you have 2 test fires that conducted using that live ammunition from that magazine, as well as the single loose live cartridge that was recovered in the safe.
Are you going to ask more questions about that? Because I couldn't keep up. Or should I have them repeated?
No, I will ask.
Okay, thank you.
But in the meantime, may the box and the contents be marked for as an exhibit?
Yeah, let's, we're gonna have to do them individually. I don't want the ammunition to be with the firearm. So let's do that, Mr. Ruane. And also, any objection if he puts, Mr. Bradle, if he puts the trigger lock on there?
No, Judge.
I don't know, are you able to even?
Object to the meeting either for this. I don't object to any meeting for this kind of stuff.
I would ask that you just wait to
Sure,
put the trigger lock on, certainly before it's submitted.
sure. Thank you.
How about we do the gun in the box and then the rest we can mark, tag individually?
Sure.
Exhibit 90 would be the firearm, Your Honor, in a box.
Yeah.
91 is a magazine, Your Honor. And 92 is also a magazine, Your Honor.
Is it with the ammunition?
Yes.
Okay.
93 is in that magazine.
93 is a magazine with ammunition.
Live round.
94 ammunition, 1 round.
Test fire.
95 test fired ammunition. 96 test fired ammunition.
The magazine that you recovered from the gun in the black safe, what was the total capacity of that magazine?
17 live cartridges.
And is that how many live cartridges that weapon can hold?
That's how many cartridges the magazine can hold. So what's called a top-off method. So you'd load the magazine with the 7 live cartridges. You would chamber around. You'd take the magazine out of the magazine well and insert another live cartridge. So essentially, the magazine will be fully loaded with 7, and then there will be 1 live cartridge in the chamber.
So you said 7, not 17.
My apologies.
No, I'm asking, that's a question. You mean 7, right? Not 17?
7. The magazine is 17 live cartridges capacity.
17
17.
is the capacity. Okay.
17 is the capacity for the magazine that was recovered from the black box.
Correct.
And so when you add an extra round, what's the capacity for the weapon itself?
So we'd call it 17 plus 1, so essentially 18 live cartridges.
So getting back to that, in that black box, in this, I'm showing you Exhibit 80. Exhibit 80 is the gun, the magazine, and the single live projectile that is contained within the box in front of you. Is that correct?
Yes.
And when you examined this firearm, how many bullets were in the magazine?
There were 16 live cartridges in the magazine.
And how many live projectiles were in the safe?
There was 1 loose round live cartridge in the safe.
And that is reflected in the 1 loose round cartridge. That's in Exhibit 94, is that correct?
Correct.
Are you familiar with the term dry fire?
I am.
What's that mean?
So you are cycling the weapon without a live cartridge in the chamber. So all the same steps are going to happen. You're going to cock that weapon. It's going to have that trigger bar or that striker be sent to the rear. It's going to be held in tension by that trigger bar. When you depress the trigger, it's going to create that trigger bar to drop. The firing pin is going to move forward through the aperture and potentially strike any live cartridge that's in the chamber.
And what happens if there's not a live cartridge in the chamber?
So you'll hear an audible click.
With the court's permission, may Detective Lieutenant demonstrate?
Any objection?
No.
Demonstrate with.
A dry fire with no projectile in the weapon at all, no projectile particularly in the chamber.
Yes.
So if you could stand up and demonstrate.
Okay. Again, there's nothing in the magazine well, nothing in the chamber currently. So the weapon currently is cocked. You've moved the slide forward, still in the cocked position. You still have that trigger bar, it's moved backwards. And then when you pull the trigger, you'll hear an audible click because it's releasing that striker. That striker is going to move forward and hit where the aperture where the firing pin would protrude. So you'll hear the click. And in order to reset it, so right now you have a dead trigger, it's not going to do anything. Again, pull the trigger, audible click. And that's what you'll hear. If you have nothing, if it's halfway, you'll have a click as well. So if it's not all the way chambered, it'll click as well. So what we call it is out of battery. So the weapon is locked to the rear. You'll have the slide forward. Now the weapon is battery. So you have an enclosed live cartridge. There's nowhere for that live cartridge to go when it's fired, but out the barrel.
And I'm sorry, the term that you used, batteried?
It's out of, so once the live cartridge is loaded, that weapon is now in battery. So you have the breech that is right behind that live cartridge. So when you fire that weapon, an explosion is going to happen. So you're going to have the firing pin is going to hit that primer. Primer is going to ignite the powder. Powder is going to build up gases. Projectors are going to go down simultaneously. You're going to have an explosion, which is going to cause that slide to go backwards. The extractor is in contact with that live cartridge. It's going to rip that discharge casing out. It's going to hit the ejector, which is pretty much a metal rod, and it's going to eject out this ejection port, which is right here. There's an ejector right in there. An extractor is like a little claw that's attached to that rim of that live cartridge or that discharge cartridge after firing and pulling it right out. All in one function, and then that slide is going to go forward and load the next live cartridge.
Thank you.
So based on your training and experience, would you hear that click if there was a loaded magazine in the weapon, but no bullet in the chamber?
Yes.
And based on your training and experience, what would happen if the gun was cocked and there was bullets in the magazine and you pull the trigger?
If there wasn't any live cartridges in the chamber, nothing would go off. You'd hear a click, but nothing would go off.
And then how would you get a bullet to go into the chamber?
You'd have to physically, manually load that bullet or push that slide forward to load that live cartridge from the magazine.
May I have a moment, Your Honor? Thank you. No further questions.
Hello, sir.
Afternoon.
Lieutenant Detective Bonasaro, do I have that right?
Detective Lieutenant Bonasoro.
Bonasaro, nice to meet you. We have never spoken before, correct?
Correct.
So what's a head stamp on a cartridge?
It's the indicator that tells you the caliber and the manufacturer.
Was that something that you took note of for all the cartridges in this case?
Yes.
And and you can look at any of your reports if you like, or anything you need to look at, you can just let me know. Or you can just go right ahead and do it. Do you have your reports with you?
I don't have them with me, no.
Okay. And let me know and I can show you. In this case, relative to the spent projectiles that you recovered and the loose round you recovered, did you check the head stamps of those?
All head stamps were recorded on all evidence, yes.
And they're on your ballistics worksheets, right?
Yes.
And if you need to look, just let me know. All the head stamps for all these cartridges were the same, right?
I believe so.
It was Hornady 9mm.
Yes.
Okay. And so just out of an abundance of caution, I don't want you to believe so. I want you to look and just tell me. Is that all right?
Yes, that's
I'm pretty sure I'm giving you everything. And if I don't, just let me know. And I have 3 ballistics worksheets here. May I approach, Ron? Yeah. I'm going to show you those. Take a look. Take all the time.
And then, just so I'm clear, Mr. Bradle, the question is whether all the ammunition recovered had the same head stamp?
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
thank
Ron.
you.
So with respect to, actually, I should qualify that a little more, Your Honor.
Sure.
The question was, the 2 spent projectiles and the loose round, do they all have the same head stamp?
the 2 discharge casing.
And the loose round, do they all have the same head stamp?
The 2 discharge casing as well as the loose live cartridges all have the same Hornady head stamp.
And I apologize, and you just corrected me. I said spent projectiles. That's wrong, isn't it?
Correct.
So I should rephrase that, Your Honor. The 1 live round, live cartridge, and the 2 shell casings all had the same head stamp. Correct. Thank you. And I said that right that time, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm just going to retrieve those from you. Sure. As a state police detective, you go to various towns and you investigate ballistics evidence, ballistics issues at various calls, right?
Yes.
And oftentimes you get there kind of well after the fact of the incident, right?
Correct.
And in this case, I know you don't exactly remember the times, but let's break it down a little bit. How long did it take you to get to the scene, if you recall?
Probably over an hour to get there. I was traveling from Maynard.
Okay, so Maynard to North Andover, and it's was it dark out when you got there, if you can recall?
I don't recall exactly what time I got there.
It's fair to say that the scene was secured and there was there were no civilians around. It was a crime scene that was in the possession of police.
Safe to say there was a secure scene, yes.
And you saw colleagues from the state police that are assigned to the state Essex detective unit, right?
Correct.
And you also saw some North Andover police officers as well, correct?
Yes.
And it's fair to say that the North Andover police officers were having free reign over that scene when you were there?
I wouldn't call it free reign.
Well, nobody was keeping them out of there, right?
I believe they had a log of who was going in and out, but it's not my responsibility to keep track of who's in the scene.
Certainly not. And you oftentimes don't have personal knowledge of what goes with what cartridges from what gun, things like that.
Correct.
And you often have to rely on what people at the scene tell you.
Yes.
And then you can also, however, apply your science and figure out to a reasonable degree of ballistic certainty what the relationships of certain projectiles, cartridges, and firearms are, right?
Yes.
And in this case, you don't have any personal knowledge of the chain of custody of these various firearms, do you?
What was recorded in my notes of who I recovered these firearms from is all I can.
Well, we can start there, and we'll go through it. So you wrote a report, and again, if you want to look at this, just let me know. You wrote a report that involved 3 Glock firearms, right?
Yes.
Okay. And actually, it might be quicker, Judge, if I give him one of these, so I don't have to keep going back and forth with that.
Let me ask, Mr. Brady, do you think that now's a good time to break for lunch? Do you think?
Sure,
And then,
that's fine, Judge, and I'll have the paperwork for him, and we can just go
Okay.
without having to go back.
Yeah, maybe let's do that. So
Thank you.
we'll stand at recess and let's start back up at 5 of 2.
Should we have him put the gun lock on?
I'm sorry, hold on one second.
Should you put the gun lock on?
Yeah, do.
Okay.
We're back on record on the Kelsey Fitzsimmons matter, docket 2025, 77 CR 311. All counsel and the defendant are present.
Okay, I think we left off during cross.
Yes. May I resume, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Lieutenant Detective Bonasar, you have a copy of your report, right?
I do.
Okay. And there's other documents too. You have worksheets and other items, correct?
Correct.
So if you need anything, just let me know and we can share anything you need, okay?
Okay.
What is meant by chain of custody of an item?
Who has actual custody of that particular piece of evidence? It's moved from one location to another or one person to another.
So as a piece of evidence kind of goes through the investigative process, sometimes it can be important to make sure you know who had it, where did it go, as it goes through, right?
Correct.
And in this case, it's fair to say that you don't have personal knowledge of a lot of the chain of custody here.
I have personal knowledge of who I received the firearms from.
Right, okay. And we'll go through that. And I'm not questioning, in terms of chain of custody, you and the state police going forward from when you left the crime scene. I want to ask you some questions about chain of custody at the scene, okay? Who did you get, and again, you can refer to your report here. Item 1-1 is a Glock 47, and we'll just use the last three numbers of the serial number, 269. Who did you get that from?
What was the item number again?
1-1, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yep. And the last three digits of the serial number are 269.
Thank you.
And so that gun, and again, you can look on your papers, anything you want. Do you know who you got that from?
If I could see my notes, the
Sure.
worksheet notes
Yep.
from the crime scene.
Sure.
Yep.
Let me see if I got this right. These would be the notes, right? And this is just another copy of that report.
Yes.
So 1-1, take all the time you need. Who did you get that from?
It was received from Detective Lieutenant Michael Davis.
Okay, and who's he?
He works for North Andover.
All right. And do you know whose gun that is identified to from the incident?
Based on the serial number, I was told it was Officer Noonan's weapon.
Okay. And are there some notes in that packet you have there from you that indicate that Chief Gray had that gun for a while?
Yes.
And what are the indications that, how did Chief Gray come to get Noonan's gun?
I was told that he had custody of the weapon and he unloaded the weapon at some point, and he put the live cartridge that was in the chamber back into the magazine.
Okay, so Chief Gray is manipulating Noonan's firearm. And I mean the word manipulating in the physical sense.
Yes, this is what I was told.
And then it goes to who? Lieutenant Reardon, was it?
Detective Lieutenant Michael Davis.
Davis, sorry. And then Davis gives it to you?
Yes.
And that's just what you have documented, right? You don't have any knowledge of any other people having it, right?
Correct.
Presumably Noonan had it since it was his firearm at some point.
Presumably.
And all right, so that's 1-1. And item 1-2 is a box magazine from item 1-1, correct?
Yes.
And it's got 16 cartridges in it, and the capacity is 17, right?
Yes,
And so you say right in your report, from item 1-1, so it's the magazine from Noonan's gun, right?
yes,
Then 1-3 is a little different, isn't it?
yes,
You write there, one removable box magazine from, but then you didn't fill in who it's from, right?
yes. That was an error on the administrative portion of the report.
And just so we're clear, this is your report.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So it was never noted where the 1-3 is from, correct? In terms of the gun.
It was noted that it was received from Officer Michael Logan,
Right.
1-3.
So he's the chain of custody guy, but unlike 1-1 and 1-2, where you match them up, that the magazine is from 1-1, here, it doesn't say where that magazine is from, right?
Well, these were recovered at a later time.
Mhm.
I was initially given the firearm with the magazine, and then later on, these additional magazines that were recovered from, I believe, the either the duty belt or vest carrier, whatever the officer had.
And you know, I'm just asking about what it says. I'm not trying to suggest there's fault. And I just want to go through it with you in terms of what's identified and what's known to be from somewhere and what's not. Okay? So I'm not trying to find fault. I just want to factually have us go through the report. So we don't know where 1-3, the box magazine, is from, what device it's from, right?
I was told it was from either the vest carrier or the duty belt of Officer Noonan.
But that's not in the report, is it?
It is not.
And then same with 1-4, one removable box style magazine from, and then from is not identified, right?
Correct.
Okay. And that's the same thing. You got a magazine, and that's from Officer Logan as well. The chain of custody references from Logan, right?
Yes.
And again, it's not identified in the document where it comes from. Yes?
Correct. Correct.
Then 1-5 is another Glock 47. So it's just to cut to the chase. All three guns you have are Glock 47s, right?
Yes.
And that's a semi-automatic firearm that was, to your understanding, issued to the North Andover Police.
Yes.
And each one obviously has its own serial number,
Correct.
but otherwise they look the same.
Yes.
Going to 1-7, you have two removable box style magazines that you received, and the chain of custody guy is Michael Logan, but it doesn't say what firearm they were in the vicinity of or near, correct?
So as I entered the evidence, it was associated with the firearm. So as I went to the next firearm, whatever is below that firearm is associated with that firearm. So all evidence below it will be associated with the firearm until I mention another firearm.
Okay, so that's your procedure, right?
Yes.
Well, it's fair to say though that sometimes you do say what it's from and sometimes you omit it, right?
Yes.
And that's by mistake, right?
Yes.
And then you have 1-9, which is another Glock 47. Last three serial number is 315, right?
Correct.
And that is associated with who?
Is Officer Kelsey
Miss Officer Fitzsimmons?
Fitzsimmons? Yes.
And then you have a box magazine 1-10, right?
Correct.
And you do write from that item in this particular instance, from
Correct.
1-9, from Ms. Fitzsimmons' firearm, right?
Yes.
And then you do 2 removable box style magazines from a vest carrier on the first floor.
Yes.
And it's fair to say that after item 1.8 from Michael Logan, that's the last reference to the chain of custody person you received items from, right?
Correct.
So from 1-9 to 115, you don't reference who you got the items from, right?
Well, I physically recovered that evidence.
Okay, so you had it
Yes.
from the scene, like from the floor or the bed or wherever?
Correct.
Okay. So these are things that you recovered?
Yes.
Okay. Then we get to some discharge cartridges and a live cartridge, 1-12, 13, and 14, right?
Correct.
And they're all, as we went over, they're all head stamped the same, right?
Yes.
And then you have 115, the last item, is a spent projectile. So like a bullet, a spent bullet from above the air conditioner.
Correct.
And you recovered that yourself.
Yes.
Now, with respect to the live cartridge, the discharge cartridge at 113 and the discharge cartridge at 114, it's fair to say that you applied science. I'm going to just keep it vague for a second. That you applied some science to the 2 discharge cartridge casings, right?
I was looking for agreement of individual markings. Yes.
Right. So you used some science.
Yes.
Just to start real basic here. And you were able to identify those 2 discharge casings to item 1-1, right?
Correct.
And 1-1, you know to be Noonan's Glock, right?
Yes.
Now, it's fair to say that with respect to the live round recovered from the hallway safe, it's fair to say that you didn't apply any science to that item, correct?
Correct.
So there's no science, unlike the other 2, unlike the discharge casing in 114, the discharge casing in 113, unlike those, the live cartridge, there's no scientific basis for you to say what gun that came from, right?
Correct.
And it's fair to say that there were, and again, I'm not trying to find fault. Nobody asked you to apply any science to that item, right?
Correct.
So there were some various scientific methods that you could use to determine where that came from, right?
There would be some markings if it was actually cycles with that weapon.
Right. You're one step ahead of me. That's my next question. If that was cycled through a weapon, you would have what? Breech face markings?
No, you would have what's called extractor markings, possibly ejector markings, as well as you may have magazine marks.
Okay. And just to kind of bottom line it, that means that if someone had, if that cartridge was in the chamber of Ms. Fitzsimmons' weapon, and it was made safe by cycling it out, right?
Correct.
Breech face markings or ejector markings or extractor markings would be deposited on that cartridge, right?
Possibly, but not breech face. Breech face markings is part of the firing process.
Okay, so what processes were available to figure that out?
So you could have the extractor mark, which is holding that live cartridge in place. You'd have a magazine mark that came from the magazine, if it was loaded in the magazine, and you'd have possibly an ejector mark. But a lot of times these cycling marks don't show up due to the fact that there isn't an explosion that happened. So it's not a exact way of looking at these markings. So you're looking at a piece of ammunition that could have been cycled, but there's no definitive amount of markings there to determine that unless there was some type of defect or whatnot.
And to figure that out, you got to look at it.
Correct.
And that didn't happen here, right?
Correct.
Nothing further.
Okay. Read you back? Okay. All right, you may step down, thank you. And come up and call your next witness.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause now and hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Just watch your step right there. If you could try to speak up nice and loud, right directly into this microphone so the judge can hear you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Sir, in a loud, clear voice, can you please introduce yourself? Spell your first name and your last name.
Officer Timothy Houston, TIMOTHYHOUSTON.
And sir, what do you do for a living?
Patrol officer with North Andover Police Department.
How long have you been doing that?
A little over 5 years. Okay.
Sir, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in North Andover
Did you go through the North Andover school system?
up until high school.
And where'd you go?
I went to Central Catholic.
After Central Catholic, what did you do?
I went to Norwich University and got a bachelor's in criminal justice.
After you graduated there, what did you do?
I went to the Army. I was in the Army for 4.5 years, reached the rank of sergeant, and then came home, joined the North Andover Police Department.
And so when was that you joined the PD?
I started the academy in November of 2020.
And your rank now, you're a patrol officer?
Patrol officer.
Can you tell us a little bit about your duties as a patrol officer?
I worked a 4 to 12 shift. I started on midnights. I've been on 4 to 12. I think it's my 3rd year. It's basically if you're not answering calls, you're on the road, watching traffic, things of that nature.
I'm going to jump back for a second and just talk about your military service. You were in the Army, you said?
That's correct.
Okay. And what did you do there?
I was a cavalry scout.
And what did that entail?
I mean, I had different positions. The job itself, you mainly focus on reconnaissance. While I was there, I started as a dismount. Then I moved up to a gunner, and then I was a dismount team leader, and then I was a gunner for the lieutenants in the platoon. That's pretty much it.
Where were you stationed?
I was at Fort Lewis, Washington.
Now we're going to jump back to the PD, okay? Do you know a person by the name of Kelsey Fitzsimmons?
I do.
How do you know her?
We worked together briefly. I mean, she was in the academy. I can't remember how long she was out of the academy, but she was FTOing for a while, and she was FTOing on my shift. And then she finished FTO, and she worked on our shift for a brief period of time.
Okay. FTO, what do you mean by that?
So she was under a field training officer. So she was riding around with somebody while she got used to the job, learned.
Did she ever ride around with you?
No, she did not.
Okay. Did you know her socially at all?
Yeah. I was invited to her wedding. We kept in touch when she went on leave. Tried to keep her in the loop. Spoke with her, kind of, you know, trying to get everybody together before her wedding. Her wedding was a decent amount of time away, and while she was out of work, we obviously didn't see her as much. So we had been working on planning something with some of the guys from work, people bringing their spouses, their dogs, and trying to figure out something, but it never happened.
Okay. Did you know her fiance?
I met him at the engagement party. Other than that, I'd see him, on calls if we had the FD, but I don't know him that well.
Okay. So I'm going to turn your attention to June 30th of last year. We are working that day.
Yes.
Okay. And at some point, did you get in touch by Lieutenant Daly?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the nature of that communication?
He called me and said, Justin filed an RO against Kelsey. He wanted me and Officer Noonan to go to the house and serve the RO, which required Justin picking up their baby and confiscating her firearms.
Okay. How did he get in touch with you? Do you remember?
By cell phone.
Okay. Did he ask you to do anything in particular about Officer Noonan?
Initially, he told me to drive past Kelsey's house and see if she was home.
Okay. Did you do that?
I did.
And you knew where she lived?
Yes.
Did she park in a particular place usually?
So normally, yes, she would park in front of her house if she was home. I found her car 50 to 100 yards down the road, kind of in the school lot, kind of tucked away.
Okay. Did you relay that information to Lieutenant Daly at that point?
I did.
Okay. And at the point that you saw her car, had you already talked to Officer Noonan?
After I called Lieutenant Daly and told him about her car being out of, parked in a strange way, I called Officer Noonan.
Okay. And what did you tell him?
I said, hey, what's going on? He hadn't talked to Lieutenant Daly yet, so he had no idea what was going on. So I told him to meet me in the parking lot, and I'd go over it with him.
And did he do that?
He did.
Did he get there before Lieutenant Daly did, if you remember?
Yes, he did.
Did you inform him of what was going on?
I did.
At some point, did Lieutenant Daly also meet up with you in that particular spot?
Yes.
Okay. Did you talk about a plan as to how you were going to handle serving the order?
My only memory is what I updated Officer Noonan with, just the circumstances why we're going there and concerns that we had, but I don't remember what the exact plan was. I think it was assumed that Lieutenant Daly would do most of the talking.
Okay. And you said your concerns. What were your concerns?
We were aware that she had been sectioned before. So, obviously it's a tough position for her, finding out, there's an order in place. We're taking her firearms. We got to take the baby, give them to Justin. So we thought with her past being sectioned, she might not take that news very well. And, we weren't sure what was going to happen.
Okay. Had you served restraining orders yourself before?
Yes.
Now, at some point, did you go over to 125 Phillips Brook Road?
Yes, we did.
And the three of you?
Yes.
Did you go in together?
Yes.
All right. Can you tell us what happened as you approached the house? And take us from there.
So we parked off to the side of the house, out of view of the house itself. We walked around, knocked on the front door, or the side porch door, whatever.
Had you ever been in that home before?
I don't think I'd ever been in the home, no.
When you knocked or rang, I'm sorry, I forget what you said.
I don't remember.
Okay. Did someone answer?
Yes, Kelsey answered.
Okay. Did she have the baby with her?
She did.
Okay. So what happened then?
She wasn't sure why we were there. Lieutenant Daly kind of had the paperwork in his hand. She invited us in, and Lieutenant Daly just started explaining why we were there and what was going on.
Okay. Where in the house did you go?
So we went into the living room.
Did you remain standing? Was she seated? What happened with the baby? Can you describe what happened there?
So Lieutenant Daly asked her to take a seat on one of the couches. Had her put the baby in like a rocker on the floor, and I stood kind of away from them by another couch.
Okay. Could you hear what they were saying?
Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly what was said, but
What was the gist?
Justin filed this order. She was shocked by it. Lieutenant Daly was doing his best to, mediate and tell her, this is what has to happen now, but you're going to have your day in court. Like nothing's, we're going to figure this out.
Did you look around the living room at all?
Yes, I did.
And did you notice something?
Yes. So on the couch I was near, there was clothes everywhere. And I could see a handgun case sticking out. And before that, Lieutenant Daly had asked Kelsey where her firearms were. She said they're in the basement. And while they were having that discussion, I saw the handgun case, picked it up, opened it. It was empty. And Kelsey reassured me that they were in the basement.
Okay. So that was the second time she said they were in the basement.
Yes.
How soon after you got in there was that question asked about where the guns were, if you remember?
It was almost immediately.
Okay. That was one of the first questions?
Yes.
Okay. So what happened next?
We told her that, or Lieutenant Daly told her that Justin's going to come and pick up the baby. So she said, how long is he going to have him? I need to pack for him. So me and Lieutenant Daly began following Kelsey as she packed for the baby.
Okay. And did she do anything with the baby when you guys were following her around, if you remember?
I believe at that time, Officer Noonan was holding the baby.
Now, you said you were following her around the house,
That's correct.
was it? Why was that?
It was still, we were still a little bit on edge. She had to go to the kitchen. I remember when me and Lieutenant Daly followed her in the kitchen, I was concerned because there was butcher knives all on the kitchen. That was just something that stood out to me.
Okay. Was it your intention for you or another officer to be with her the entire time?
That's correct.
Is that standard practice when you're have similar concerns?
Correct.
After you went into the kitchen, do you remember where you went?
I believe we went upstairs. Me, Kelsey, Lieutenant Daly, briefly came back downstairs, and then we went into the other side room. I think it's like an exercise room.
Okay. At any point, if you remember, did the defendant make a call?
Yes, at some point she called her mother.
So after you came downstairs, at some point, did you take possession of the baby?
That's correct.
What happened while you were holding the baby? Anything?
Yeah, so I took the baby from Officer Noonan, which Kelsey asked me to do, which I did. Kelsey told me, why don't you take him for a walk? He likes to look at the cars. I told her, I said I'd take the baby, but I wasn't going to leave. So I took the baby out on the porch, and the baby was crying, so I was doing my best with the baby. And at that point, her mom showed up.
Through that same door you guys had come in?
Correct.
Okay. And so what did you do when she came?
I peeked in, I told Lieutenant Daly, like, the mom's here, why don't we give her the baby? And we invited the mom in.
After the mom came in and you handed the baby to her, did you stay in the immediate area or did you go somewhere?
So once the mom came in, she was pretty upset with us, but Lieutenant Daly explained the situation to her. So at that point, me and Officer Noonan followed Kelsey upstairs so she could pack more things.
Describe upstairs, if you would.
There's a landing. It's a T hallway.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go up the stairs, there's a landing, and there's a room off to the left and a room off to the right.
And could you describe the room off to the left?
It's got I believe it's the baby's room, has a crib in it.
And how about the room to the right?
That would be Kelsey's bedroom.
Now, you said you followed her up there. Did she go in any one particular room
She moved between both the rooms.
while you were up there?
Correct.
And what was she doing?
She was packing. At some point, she mentioned that Justin doesn't have a car seat. So she handed me a car seat. I was holding it, started putting more and more stuff in there. And at some point I put it down.
Why'd you put it down?
I didn't want to have my hands tied up.
Why'd you put it down?
I didn't want to have my hands tied up.
And did that continue for some bit?
Briefly, at some point, she heard a female's voice downstairs, and she made a comment to me. She said, "Who's downstairs, my baby?" I said, "I believe it's your mom. I mean, we were just there." And she said, "That's not my mom's voice." And I got the sense that she wanted me to go downstairs and check, but I just kind of dismissed it at the time.
And so you stayed up there.
I stayed up
Do you
there.
remember which room that was in when you were having that conversation?
That was right at the landing. So she had moved, I think she had moved back to her bedroom, and as she was coming across, she had mentioned it. And at some point up there, I'd found another handgun case.
Okay. And where was that?
I honestly couldn't tell you which room it was in.
Okay. And did you look into it?
I opened it, and she saw me open it, and she said, "I already told you they're in the basement."
Was there anything in it?
There was nothing in it.
At some point, was your attention drawn downstairs again?
Correct.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So at some point, Justin came. Kelsey heard his voice, and she said, "I don't want him in the house." And at that point, I thought the only thing that was going to escalate the situation is them two in the house together at the same point. So I wanted to help Kelsey out. So I told her I'd go tell Justin to leave.
Okay. Where were you when this conversation happened?
Between me and Kelsey, we were still upstairs.
Okay. And was Officer Noonan also with you?
Yeah.
So did you go downstairs?
I did.
Okay. Officer Noonan stay up with Kelsey?
Correct.
Where is she at this point, if you remember?
She was either in her room or at the landing, but I couldn't be certain. But when we had that conversation, we were at the landing.
Okay. You went downstairs.
Correct.
And what did you do when you went downstairs?
So when I went downstairs, I only saw Lieutenant Daly, the mom, and I told him, Kelsey doesn't want Justin in the house. And he said, "All right, Justin's," I don't know if he said he's in the basement or he's coming up from the basement. He said, "Just go to the basement and tell him just to wait outside."
Okay. So where'd you go?
I walked past Lieutenant Daly and Kelsey's mom through the kitchen where the basement, the top of the stairs is, and I opened that door.
Could you see down?
So the lights were off. I flicked the light to turn the lights on. Lights didn't turn on. So
Could you hear anything downstairs?
I couldn't hear anything. And I remember after I flicked the lights on, they didn't go on. And I'm looking at a pitch black basement. I thought there was a chance I misheard Lieutenant Daly. And I just kind of stood there. I was like, I really don't want to walk down there if he's not down there, but I don't know how I was just kind of having like a moment where I wasn't sure whether or not to check with Lieutenant Daly.
Okay. Did something happen at that point?
Yeah, so at that point, I heard Officer Noonan yell, "Kelsey," and then I heard 2 gunshots.
What did you do?
I ran back the way I came. At that point, it was only Kelsey's mom. She was still in the living room. Lieutenant Daly was gone. He'd already gone upstairs, and I started making my way upstairs.
Okay. When you were making your way upstairs, could you see anybody at the top of the landing?
I could see Officer Noonan.
And what happened as you went up?
So, I mean, I knew it was gunshots. I came over the air and I said, "Start medics." I don't know if that got caught or someone else was calling at the same time, but I had my pistol out and I was going up the stairs. I saw Noonan and I said, like, "Do you good up there? What was that?" And I can't remember exactly what he said at that point.
Can you give us the gist of what he said?
At that point, he said, yeah, he looked like he was still in shock. He said, yeah. So I kept moving up towards him. And as I got closer to him, I was like, "What just happened?" He said, "She pulled a gun on me." And we talked about it later, but at that point, that's what he said.
That's fine right there, actually. Okay. Just didn't want anything further. Okay. Thank you.
Do you remember the exact words he used?
So the exact words he used would be after the FD and we had gone into the other room and spoken. But at that exact moment, that I don't even.
What's the basis?
So I'm not, I think it's, I guess that it's a vague question because I don't know what he's referring to in terms of what conversation, how long is it after the incident, what's the demeanor, what's the purpose of it being offered for. There's a lot to unpack here.
All right, well, what the answer was didn't include hearsay. It just was that I think it was something to the effect that later on they went in the kitchen, maybe he and Noonan and had a discussion, something to that effect. But the objection is overruled.
So the fact of the discussion, I don't object to, but just any further, I'm trying to stop from coming out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Would the exact words that he used when you first ran up the stairs, would it help you to remember if you looked at a report?
I know he did say, "She pointed the gun at me, pulled the trigger, and racked the slide." Whether it was right when I was moving up the stairs or once everything got situated, it was in that time frame, but I can't remember if it was exactly when I got to the top of the stairs or.
Okay.
Motion to strike the testimony.
Would looking at a report help you remember that?
Hold on a second. There's an objection. To strike what?
Non-responsive. It's, I don't know what conversation he's talking about. It's hearsay and
All right, well,
frankly news to the defense.
okay, so first things first. On the hearsay issue, Mr. Gubitosi.
I'm trying to establish that it happened seconds after the event.
So for the truth of the matter or state of mind?
Both.
Okay. And so to the extent that you're seeking to offer for the truth of the matter, it's hearsay. And I think, didn't we already litigate the spontaneous utterance?
No, that was a different time frame.
Oh, that was a different, all right. So are you arguing that this should be admitted as a spontaneous utterance?
Yes.
Okay. And then the rest of your objections that is within there, let's just take them a step at a time. Let's get through the spontaneous utterance. So, Mr. Bradel, what do you say on the spontaneous utterance?
So I think there's certainly a lack of foundation, Judge, where there's been two different overlapping statements that are referenced here. I don't know where they're going back to here. It needs to be clarified foundationally what happened before the statement, how long after the shots it was, what were the circumstances of that particular first statement they want to try to use.
So
That's what I asked for.
I agree with Mr. Brado that it's the foundation right now, and it's not the witnesses, it's no one's fault. The foundation right now, to me, is confusing because he's having trouble remembering which
And
conversation.
I do understand that. That's why I'm looking to approach with the report,
Okay.
to refresh his memory, yes.
All right, well, why don't you do that, and we'll take it a step at a time.
Just ask you to look.
But just so you know, for right now, I'm not going to strike the testimony because it can come in for state of mind. The issue is whether it comes in for the truth.
Thank you.
Does that help you remember the timing of that statement?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, when did that statement happen?
So that statement happened when I got to the top of the stairs.
Right.
I don't know what statement it is because he's
Sure, I'll ask him.
He's recited two different statements. Again, I'm not casting aspersions, but it was she pulled the gun on me or she pointed a gun, wrapped trigger, etc. So you can have him clarify.
Sure. What statement did you hear when you ran up the stairs the first time?
So she pointed a gun at me. I'm speaking from Officer Noonan's perspective. Pointed the gun.
I can't hear you.
She pointed the gun at Officer Noonan, pulled the trigger, and then racked the slide.
All right, and there's an objection to that coming in for truth of the matter? Sure, take your time.
Judge, there's still a lack of foundation here, Your Honor. Now he's saying something different than what he said 2 answers ago about what the statement was. So this is, in terms of any sort of a reliability preliminary finding of any of this, it's all over the place. He just said something completely different than what he said before.
He's not clarified it, so we're beyond that. And so he's now has identified the statement, identified where it was made, when it was made. There was some mention before about the declarant state of mind. So I guess what I'm saying, politely saying, is you need to move beyond that. So now the issue for me is, does that statement come in for the truth of the matter? And
Judge, I think that I'll reiterate my arguments from the earlier discussion about the other excited utterance statement, Your Honor, that this isn't like a domestic violence situation where someone is, you know, a battered woman or something, where the time frame is much more flexible. And in this situation, you have an officer-involved shooting that happens. Another fellow investigating officer comes right up there, and there's a huge motive to fabricate immediately, Your Honor, that something happened that covers the officer, covers the shooting officer, versus being under the influence of the event so that you're not fabricating. There's an immediate impulse here that this officer has to cover his future. He has to cover his conduct right away. There doesn't need to be much time to realize that from an officer who jumps the gun, from an officer who panics and shoots someone in the wrong circumstances. That's something that would immediately happen. And particularly where there's no surrounding corroboration, where there's no attempt by the government or no testimony from Noonan that this happened. This is something completely different, that the statement happened, that this interaction with Houston happened. There's extremely unreliable circumstances. If that really happened, Noonan would have testified to it. If that really happened, the government would have given me discovery on it. If that really happened, it would have been corroborated. So
The lack of discovery or argument is a different matter. Anything else on, again, on just the Commonwealth's assertion that it qualifies as a spontaneous utterance?
no, Your Honor, just the notion that it's not a domestic violence situation. It's a situation where the motive to fabricate immediately arises. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gubitosi, anything further on that?
This is exactly what the exception is for. It couldn't have been more immediate unless Officer Houston was standing next to Officer Noonan when it happened. He immediately heard the shots, immediately heard the yell, and ran up the flight of stairs that you've seen pictures of, and asked what happened, and got that response. So that's my answer to that. And as far as, I think I have to, since we're on the record, talk about a discovery violation. This.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Okay.
Okay, let's just take it a step at a time. All right, anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna sustain the objection, but for reasons different than Mr. Bradel articulated, and essentially for the same reasons that I stated yesterday to Attorney Moriarty, and that is that when I weigh the factors under Baldwin, I come out that it militates towards excluding it for the truth of the matter. It will come in for state of mind. We don't need to get to alleged discovery violations or any other reasons because I've sustained the objection. Unless you want to make a record.
It was part of his recorded interview that they've had since the beginning.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Now,
So-
sir, after you heard Officer Noonan tell you that she pulled out a pistol, pulled the trigger, and racked around, where did you go?
At that point, I was at the landing. I looked in and I saw Kelsey on the ground and I saw Lieutenant Daly over her.
What was he doing? Anything?
It looked like he was kind of evaluating her. I moved towards them. I asked either Noonan or Lieutenant Daly. I said, "Where's the gun?" I believe I asked Noonan, and he motioned away from Kelsey, so that stopped being my concern. I moved close to Lieutenant Daly just to see what level of consciousness Kelsey was. I could see she was breathing, she was alert. So I told Lieutenant Daly I was going to go get a med bag.
Was she saying anything?
She kept saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
And so, where did you go?
I ran down to get the medical bag out of my cruiser.
Okay. Did you get it?
I did.
Did you come back?
I did.
And what did you do when you came back?
I threw the medical bag on the bed and started taking stuff out. I took out the AED, I took out gauze, wraps, stuff like that, handed it to Lieutenant Daly.
Okay. Sure.
All right, thank you, all set.
I'm going to jump back just a minute. When you went up the stairs and you saw Officer Noonan, did he have his gun out?
With the med bag or before that?
First time.
First time, he had it out.
And how was he holding it?
He had it at the low ready, so he had it kind of down towards the ground.
Pointing to the ground?
Yes.
Do you see Kelsey Fitzsimmons in the courtroom here today?
I do.
Can you point to her and describe an article of clothing she's wearing?
She's wearing like a beige sweater.
May the record reflect she's identified the defendant?
It may.
Thank you. I have nothing else.
Okay. Cross-examination?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
You said that Ms. Fitzsimmons initially exhibited a lack of certainty, or that she was unsure why you were there, correct? And how was that manifested?
She just looked surprised. Her eyes were wide. She didn't, I guess it's the best way I could describe it.
Now, you were with her for a good amount of time during this interaction, right?
Correct.
And it's true that she tried to kind of get you away from her a couple of times?
That's what I believe, yes.
She gave you the baby and said maybe go out on the porch and or take him for a walk.
Correct.
And then she also put some, tried to put some things in your hands and asked you to take them downstairs.
She didn't ask me to take them downstairs. She just put them in my hand
And where did that occur?
on the landing
Upstairs?
upstairs.
And you said that you heard Officer Noonan yell Kelsey,
Correct.
and that's all?
That's all.
One time?
One time.
And how about after after you said Kelsey, how long of a time elapsed until the gunshots?
I couldn't put an exact time. It wasn't instant, but it was relatively quick.
Relatively quick. How about the gunshots themselves? There was 2 gunshots, right?
2 gunshots.
Were they in quick succession?
Relative, yeah, pretty quick.
And you said that Ms. Fitzsimmons said, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Correct.
Did she say, I'm sorry, I tried to kill myself?
She did not say that.
Just, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. 3 times.
Now, was there a plan before this to section Kelsey?
No.
You mentioned that you had known that she was sectioned before, right?
Correct.
And that was several months prior, wasn't it?
I don't know exactly when it was.
Okay, so it's fair to say that you don't really have any grasp of the details of that incident, do you?
I do not.
And you don't know whether it had anything to do with the police or not, do you?
I know there was police there, but I don't know the circumstances of what happened.
Okay, so you don't know how long it was?
No.
And you don't even know whether she was in fact accepted as a Section 12 commitment, do you?
No idea.
And so do you know the difference between having forms filled out to be looked at under Section 12 versus being accepted and committed under Section 12?
Yeah, so I didn't want to, like I said, I was invited to her wedding. I was friends with Kelsey.
No, that's not my question.
Okay.
I asked you some stuff about Section 12.
I know if you get sectioned, you're going to be there for probably 72 hours and you can't leave.
And do you have any idea whether that happened in March?
I have no idea.
So it's fair to say that other than kind of the notion floating around in your department that she was sectioned, you really have no information whatsoever about it. Isn't that right?
No, I didn't want to know.
And then you said something about the knives in Ms. Fitzsimmons' kitchen.
Correct.
What's the status of the knives in Ms. Fitzsimmons' kitchen?
Just at that point, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So I didn't want her to reach for a knife. It's nothing against her. It's just, it's a lot of information to take in. I didn't know how she was going to react.
Okay, so was there something strange about the knives that were in her kitchen?
No, it's just a weapon in the kitchen.
So when you're serving one of these things, anything can be a weapon, right? Any normal household product item can be a weapon, right?
I wouldn't say anything.
A lot of things. How about that?
Yeah, well, let's go with that.
And in this case, there were knives in her kitchen. Is there anything more to it than that?
No, that's it.
One moment, please, Your Honor.
Yes. Okay. And any redirect?
Yeah, just briefly, a
Okay.
lot of things could be weapons, correct?
Correct.
So that's why you don't leave someone alone, right? That's why you keep eyes on them the whole time.
Correct.
That's why you use the term in their pocket while they're walking around, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any recross?
Nothing further.
Okay, all right, you may step down. And Commonwealth, can you call your next witness?
Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause and our hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Step up right here. Try to keep your voice up nice and loud. Speak directly into this thing. You can pull your chair out. The judge can hear you.
How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Wait a
All
minute.
set.
Could you please state your name, spell your first name and your last name?
Yes. My name is Michelle Mitchell. Michelle is Michelle. Last name Mitchell, Mitchell.
And what town do you live in?
I live in Ipswich, Massachusetts.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a correctional officer.
Um,
didn't hear that.
I'm a correctional officer.
Oh, correction.
And how long have you been doing that?
8 years.
In Middleton?
Yes,
Do you know Kelsey Fitzsimmons?
I do.
How do you know her?
We were coworkers and we eventually became friends.
Now I'm going to jump ahead in your relationship. Well, when did you meet her? Do you remember?
The end of 2021.
At some point, you knew she was getting married.
Yes.
Were you going to be part of that?
Yes, I was a bridesmaid in their wedding.
I'm going to turn your attention to June 30th of 2025. Do you recall that day?
I do.
At some point, did you have a conversation with her?
I did.
And was that over the phone?
Yes.
And can you tell us about that?
Yes. We talked on the phone and she was driving around North Andover and she was crying and I heard her baby crying in the back seat.
Did she tell you why she was crying?
She said that she needed Justin.
Any more than that, or was that the gist of it?
That was the gist of the conversation. And then she said she had to pull over to feed the baby.
Now, where were you when you had that conversation? Do you remember?
I was in North Andover driving around trying to meet up with her.
Did you ever meet up with her that day?
I did not until I saw her later in the hospital.
You, where did you go? Did you stay in North Andover?
I did, and up until I went to the hospital after she was shot.
Okay. Where did you go in North Andover? Anybody's house in particular?
I went to Hunter's house.
Okay. And who is Hunter?
He is a friend of Justin's.
And Justin Alayan?
Yes.
And who do you know him to be with regards to Kelsey?
He is a coworker of Justin's and also a friend of his.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hunter. I meant of the defendant. Who is Justin in relation to the defendant?
Oh,
Sorry
Justin.
if that was unclear.
That's okay. Justin is was Kelsey's fiance.
Was anybody else over Hunter's house?
Yes.
Who was that?
It would be me, Justin, Katrina, myself, and Justin's sister, Courtney.
And who is Katrina?
A friend of Kelsey Fitzsimmons.
Was she also in the wedding, if you know?
Yes.
And without getting into the conversation that was being had between the half dozen of you or so, do you know if Justin made a decision to do something?
Yes.
What was that?
He was going to go to the Lawrence courthouse to file a restraining order 209A and also get temporary custody of the child.
Okay. And at any point, did you see the defendant in the area of Hunter's house?
Yes,
Can you tell us about that?
yes, I witnessed her drive by Hunter's house.
Thank you. I have nothing else.
Good afternoon, Ms. Mitchell.
Good afternoon.
A couple questions. You said that you spoke with Kelsey on 6/30/25,
That is correct.
and she told you that she was driving around. She said that she was meeting Justin, right?
No, she was not meeting Justin.
Did you say needing Justin?
I thought you said meeting.
I did. Wasn't she going to meet Justin?
That was what I understood from Justin, but she didn't tell me that on the phone.
Okay, she said that she needed Justin?
Meeting or needing? You need to clarify that for me.
I think I said needed. She said she needed Justin?
Needed Justin, that is correct.
Okay, so just let's put that over here. And she had also told you that day that she was meeting Justin, right?
Yes, thank you for clarifying.
So she couldn't meet with you because she was meeting Justin, right?
That is what she said.
And you said there was some sort of gathering at Hunter's house,
Yes,
and that was a social gathering with swimming and drinking, right?
that is incorrect.
Was there swimming?
No, Mr. Bradel.
Was there drinking?
Also no.
And it was you, Katrina, and Justin and his sister and Hunter, right?
Correct.
Now, you said that you saw her drive by the house,
Yes,
and so it's fair to say that she would have been able to recognize some or all of the vehicles, right?
yes,
And going by the house is a route that would take her to the North Andover Common, right?
yes, it's near there, correct.
Nothing further.
Nothing.
All right, you may step down.
Thank you.
May we approach?
Yes. Just give me one moment. Well, you can start walking over.
Quiet, please. We are still on the record.
Just to continue in open court, Mr. Brado, we were discussing, why don't you give me an update on the potential for review?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. We did get some kind assent from the folks that live there, and it's something that we can do. And I would say that, you know, in a bench trial situation, we're speaking directly to the fact finder, and we have moved for the view, helpful to the fact finder. So that's our position on that, and we think that judge will be in a position to end the defense case probably by the end of the day tomorrow, or in the afternoon tomorrow.
Okay. All right. And as for, so would the view occur tomorrow?
I think so, Your Honor, that if that's the case, we could do it tomorrow, or we could do it after the defense case.
Okay. And Commonwealth, what do you say? Well, here's the thing. You take no position, but as I kidded with you earlier, we're gonna need your resources.
Sure. Take
Okay.
a position, I leave it up to you whether you think you need one. We would absolutely assist in any way we can.
Okay. So here's the thing. I'm not going to take a position on whether I need one or not. What I'm going to do is allow the motion. You've requested it. And go there with an open mind, and
Thank you.
we'll treat it like a view with the jury. You folks can point out things to me that you'd like me to remember. It will become part of the evidence like it is in a jury trial, you know, my observations. And the issue, I just need, I'd like to take a short break to just meet with the court staff, Mr. Wayne, and our court officers just on the procedures that we'll use. As I told you at sidebar, I've never done a view in a bench trial. It's not something that we typically do, but I'm all for it. I want to talk with my staff for a few, not my staff, the staff, for a few moments, so that I can come back and we can perhaps get some planning done as well. Okay, so let's just take even a 5-minute break, and Mr. Wayne and our chief and our assistant chief, if I can talk with you for a moment. Okay, all right, so formally, the motion for review is allowed. And I've met with our court officers and Mr. Wayne, so let me just specify who's going to be present. I'm going to assume that the three groups, the Commonwealth, the defense, and the court staff will go there in separate vehicles. So we need to just work out a time. Also, frankly, we have to work out. So let me back up. As for who goes inside the house to do the view, I'm sorry, all the folks in the back row, but perhaps it can be the four of you folks that Ms. Fitzsimmons, counsel, the trial counsel that have been here, Attorney Coakley, Attorney Bradle, and your paralegal. And I'm sorry, he said Mr. Bradle has told me your name 6 times, and I just keep forgetting. But I don't mean any disrespect to the other attorneys, but I can already tell from the photographs it's a small house. And then on the court side, it will be myself, Mr. Ruane, our court monitor, if you'll be available, and some court officers. We'll take our own vehicle. I would ask that there be some kind of police escort for us so that we can do this quickly. And I'll also tell the media and our audience that this is not something that you folks will be this is not going, you will not, no one else will be inside that house or really within some yardage or footage of the house. I need to figure out what that would be, other than the folks that I've mentioned. Defense counsel, Ms. Fitzsimmons, the court staff, and the prosecutors. So I'd ask that the North Andover Police, I'll give you some kind of a distance. I need to think about it, but that the North Andover Police do what is you, or the state police do what they usually do during a view, which is typically shutting down the street or area to make sure that we can accommodate quick movement through there. All right, so that's where we're at. So I would just ask you folks to just work out a time. Let our either chief court officer, assistant chief court officer, Mr. Ruane know what the time that you want to go. And then what we'll do is, if we're in the middle of a witness's testimony, we'll just break, go on the view and come back. And again, the expectations at the view will be just like we do during a jury trial. The attorneys it will be on the record in the sense of it will be recorded. Is that not live, but recorded? What? It's a handout, right? So it won't be live, but it will be recorded, so there's a record of it. And the attorneys, like in a jury view, will just point out locations inside the home that you'd like me to, and even outside the home that you'd like me to make note of. All right, and we will go from there. Anything else?
We spoke. We anticipate Thursday morning. Just to give you a heads up.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. You anticipate Thursday morning. Okay, that's fine. Just let okay. All right. And does that work for you folks? Okay. All right. Okay, that makes sense. So tomorrow, the Commonwealth may or may not have a witness. The defense, if the Commonwealth rests, I guess you could rest because it is the defense's motion for the view. So technically, you could rest. If the Commonwealth rests in the morning, you'll be ready to proceed with your case.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Excellent. And then we won't obviously get to closings until after the view. So if we're on target to end the evidence tomorrow, we can that can happen on Thursday. All right. All right. And one other thing. I've only done this once, this trial. I always have these false alarms when I'm ready to leave. And that is that, as I said, I'd like to get some agreement on the law that you want me to apply. All right, so, or at least, maybe not agreement, consensus. All right, so you can do that in the way of proposed jury instructions, just a memo, whatever you want to do is fine. Okay, all right, thank you. We'll stand recess.
All right.